2 and question 3. Question 2 is the compulsory question in that paper. Question 2 is the compulsory question in that paper. Then question 3 becomes an optional question. Other schools have chosen their optional texts. Like I know my school, Maseno School, Kabianga School, all along we've been tackling short stories. And there has been this belief that short stories are for big schools or for candidates who are in school all the time, which is a fallacy. To me, short story is the simple. And why do I say short story is the simplest form? One reason, the details which are needed to get a fair and a full in short story are fewer as opposed to the same details needed to have a fair or a full in a novel or in a play. Am I there? Yes. Short story, the moment you have the storyline, the moment you have the background of the story, the details are bare. The details are not as, convoluted. It comes to be known in a play or in a novel. In a short story, the details are bare. There is this thing that many teachers have been confronting me about, that the candidate can easily confuse a character for story number 1 with a character of story number 4. Well, it depends on your entry point at training them. Remember, in our African societies, we used to have storytelling sessions with the big people, our grandmoms, our fathers, and the rest of them, isn't it? And we never could confuse a character of one story with a character of another story. No, the children will tell you, no, hii ni ya sungura na fisi, lakini hii ni ya hippo na elephant, na hii ni ya kuku na mwewe. They know, they can't confuse. Your little boy or little girl actually will surprise you. She'll know a lot of stories that their nursery teachers told them, and they can't confuse characters. Why do we allow them to confuse characters as they grow? Simply because probably we do not employ the best strategy in training short stories. Short story is the simplest. For those who are interested in short stories, I'll tell you how. For the others, I would advise that even now that Form 4s have been integrated in Parliament of Halls, because the only options around are Parliament of Halls, an optional play, and silent song, short stories. With the Form 3s, you can begin on short stories, and it will actually work for us very, very well. But how is it being done? Okay, there's a paradigm shift in the teaching of English paper 3. We teach quest for values or lack of it in the text using episodes of the text. Yes, values and and lack of values, or virtues and vices. That is your center point. That is your centermost point of approach. Yes, as you read a text, as you read the Samaritan. And you're through with Act 1. Yes, and you see the desire of a people to transform themselves, to bring changes to their society. You see the skit which is presented by Nicole, albeit in Montana, isn't it? And that skit speaks about the hopelessness, that the Maracas municipality is presently experiencing, and the hollowness of the future, that the future will be as hollow, if not worse, than the present, isn't it? And so they come up with an up, isn't it? Yes? Lack of virtues and lack of values, and they are now endeavoring to bring virtues and to bring values. So as you move from one act to the other act, your center point of reference must be to make the candidate underline the virtues and the vices, or the values and the lack of values that are central in the text, because testing will basically be done upon those. Testing will be done upon those. Yeah. Last year, as I was finishing the silent song revision with my candidates, as I was taking them through the stories, yeah, when we reached story number 13, which was my greatest story of interest, simply because of what was happening last year, and that was the reconciliatory and forgiveness talks between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, yeah? And I told them, if you look at the story, again by show of hands, how many are doing the short stories? Yeah, I asked them, if you look at the story, God sees the truth but waits, a Russian story, Leo Tolstoy, where are the center points? Where are the principal themes upon which the virtues and vices surround? And they told me very well, there is a crime, there is punishment, and in the process, there is suffering. I took them to the second. What else do you see? Mwalimu, we see forgiveness. Who forgives? Aksiono. Who does he forgive? Makar. For what? For the wrongs that Makar had done to him. There is yet another thing which is hidden that we should see in this story. It's not over yet, because the text can revolve around it. Which one is it? And they told me very well. Yes. Guilt. Yes. And confession. Who is guilty? Makar. Why does he confess? His guilt strikes him. And how does his guilt come to strike him? Simply because of the nature of a person